How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of That Mill podcast, edition number 3 of the 2022-23 season. Joining myself, Omer, is my regular co-host, Mr. Micky Simpson. Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. You all right?
I'm all good. Look at you all branded out with your nice cap, mate.
Yeah, you see, some of us are special. Not that sort of special, but yeah, some of us are special.
I was wondering where I was going there. I did dig you out earlier because where's my cap? And obviously, you sorted yourself out.
You've got one coming.
Right.
You've got one coming. Do you know what? Those of you who are watching on YouTube, just so you're aware, that Kai is watching cricket. He's not got an imaginary friend he's talking to.
Yeah. Well, we'll bring Kai into the show. Hello, mate. Nice bucket cap, mate. You all right?
Yes, mate. Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, Tar. And completing the foursome today, we've got Joe Zampa. Hello, mate. You good?
I'm good, thanks. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, I thought today's show, guys, obviously we'll talk a bit about the signing of Charlie Cresswell. We'll also talk a bit about the cancellation of the pre-season friendly against Watford. And we'll also discuss some general news and some transfer rumours and obviously weigh in with our opinions on the pre-season friendlies coming up, which are only a few days away now. So without further ado, we'll get to the first part of the show. If you're new around here, be sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new. And if you listen on audio, obviously leave us a review. We appreciate that and it helps us out a lot. So we'll go to the first part of the show now. All right. First part of the show, chaps. I think we'll go straight into it and talk about Charlie Cresswell joining on loan from Leeds United for the season. Kai, we got him. Happy about it?
Absolutely buzzing. After missed out on Ballard, it was really important we moved quickly for a centre back. Cresswell, I think, fits the bill. Really good player, and I'd argue that perhaps, even though we all wanted Daniel Ballard back, and it would have been lovely to have him on our own, permanent deal, or our own player as such, be able to grow for the future. But I'd say that Cresswell probably has that same calibre about him. England 21. I know, it's not easy to play England 21 football. So for him to play it with the top players that he plays with, shows his experience, shows his class and quality. So, yeah, I think it's really good.
Agreed, mate. I think it'd be an interesting sign. Obviously, England and 21 international as well. Joe, obviously, played 5 times in the Premier League last season as well, mate. And obviously, 19 years of age, turns 20 next month as it goes, because I'm checking his Wikipedia profile. 6'3" as well, mate. A bit of a brute. Do you agree with Kai what you're saying about obviously signing him instead of Ballard?
Yeah, I'm happy. I mean, don't get me wrong. At the time before he was mentioned, I was a bit gutted that we couldn't re-sign Daniel Ballard, even if we got him for another year's loan. A perm would have been better. But having a look at this guy, looking at some of the highlights reels, hearing what Leeds fans say about him, even listening to him on his interview. I mean, he talks about being aggressive, very, very determined as a player. He seems like a better ball player than Ballard does. I've seen him kind of get forward quite often. He's quite adventurous. I think he'd be a massive hit down at the end. I'm really looking forward to seeing him play. And I reckon he will play a big part. I can't see him being a backup or a sort of, a substitute to say Hutch, Murray and Coops. I'll see him really staking a claim as a starting place, as Ballard did.
I think it's an interesting point that, and I think obviously Premier League clubs tend to have some of them have it written in their contracts that they've got to play a certain percentage of games. I can't see it being a thing with a 19-year-old first loan move there, Joe, but it's going to be interesting. Obviously, we're quite excited and there's a lot of hype around him, but we've got to remember at the same time, he's 19 years old and it's his first loan move, I suppose, into professional football. I mean, he's played 5 games in the Premier League last season, which will undoubtedly serve him well, but I suppose we've got to be a bit kind of cautious, but obviously at the same time, hope he gets the opportunity and takes it, I guess.
Well, I mean, I spoke to a Leeds fan yesterday, funny enough. I was working, I work in recruitment. I just talked to a candidate who's actually a Leeds fan. He's working in London at the moment. And he apologised as we're talking. Oh, I'm actually from Leeds. I'm a Leeds United supporter. I said, well, I have to apologise. Well, I'm a Millwall supporter. So it's quite funny, actually. We all kind of, laugh. He goes, oh, you got our player, Charlie Cresswell. And he goes, yeah, I can't believe it. Let him go. And he was really surprised because he's actually a season ticket holder. He lives in London and travels for all the home games up in Yorkshire. And he just said what a great player he is. And they're really hoping that next season he'll push on and get more first-team football there. So he was quite surprised that Leeds actually let him go. But then, like that way he puts it, I guess, is lots of players have come to Millwall before on loan, done very, very well. Ballard being one, I guess, and have improved tremendously. So I guess Leeds are thinking the same thing, aren't they?
Definitely. I mean, Micky, I thought you said during the week, obviously in his interview, he likes the whole no media trained nature to him, because he is obviously, it's his first loan move, 19 years of age, and also the outpouring from Leeds fans when they're seeing he signed for Millwall was quite funny, wasn't it?
I think the best bit about it as well is that obviously we're trying loads of new things, and obviously I reached out to loads of Leeds podcasts and Leeds media, local journalists, stuff like that, and not one of them would come on camera with us. Not one would agree to do a 10-minute tell us all about him, what's he doing. We managed to get one podcast who couldn't come on. He was busy, which gave him his due, but he did answer about 4 questions for us, and that was the best we could get. But I liked his interview, where he turned around, when he was, I like the way that he was turned around and said, "So you're a Millwall player now?" And he went, "Well, no, I'm just here for a season loan. I'm a Leeds United player. I'm here for the season for Millwall, but obviously I'm going to play my best while I'm at Millwall." It wasn't anything to do with a shirt or, this, that, and the other. So you can tell that he's a proper Leeds boy and he's a proper Leeds fan. And I like that he's not, he's not changing his allegiance. He's proper, he's sure of where he is. There was no media training with it. There was no airs or graces and all that. He spoke from the heart. And you know what? A lot of people might have an issue with that, but I think fucking good luck to him. I think that was nice and refreshing to see with lots of these kids where they come up and they've been media trained to an inch of their life and you don't see the real personality. But with him, I think we're seeing the real personality, and I'm looking forward to seeing him on the pitch. I think he's going to be good. Seeing the cry of the Leeds fans, everything and anything between us has gone on for forever and a day with Leeds. They fucking hate us as much as, some of the DMs, you could see that they weren't interested in coming on to us. Even the journalist was the funniest one. "No, I haven't got time. Can you answer a couple of questions for us?" "No, I ain't got time." And you're like, "Mate, really? 2 questions?" But no, look, I hope that he causes mischief and he does really well for us. And I hope that Leeds end up fucking flunking the Premiership and come down and we go up. That would be a fucking result, wouldn't it?
I think they're the one club that the rivalry is undoubtedly there from recent years, right, Joe? But when it comes to Leeds, we're not talking about Leeds in more detail than after this, but they hate to acknowledge we're rivals from recent years, and now they're in the Premier League. They think they're high and mighty and away from us, but I think they're the rivals that they know we are, but they don't like to acknowledge it. It's quite clear with that, isn't it, with Leeds?
Absolutely. I think, it's fair to say over the years we've probably got the better of them, haven't we? When we played against them, home and away, we've had them in the playoffs. We've done them there as well. So I think we're their kind of like bogey side, and we always seem to up our game against Leeds. I mean, whenever we played Leeds, whether we're in the same division, whether it's a playoff game, it's one of the games I really, really look forward to. And we talk about who are our rivals, and you can look at all our local London sides that would be classed as our rivals, but I kind of put Leeds up there. I mean, I remember when we played against them, I was so looking forward to that fixture, and it's always a full house. The atmosphere is brilliant. They bring a lot of noise as well. They're away supporters, So to get a win against them and get the beating of them when we play against them is always a great feeling for a Millwall fan. So on the flip side of that, you can imagine how painful it must be for them. Each time they play us, they feel they kind of struggle and they can't beat us. I think they've only beaten us once, didn't they? The last sort of, I don't know.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot deeper than that, but yeah.
We know our days out, don't we? As well, like we can think about it with Leeds as well. Like we've had loads of good momentous wins there. Obviously, the playoffs, I think, is where it sparked from, wasn't it? So, but yeah. Anyway, we'll move away from Leeds. But Kai, have you done a bit of a deep dive into Cresswell? Do you know much about him or his playing style or anything you can give us insight-wise, mate?
So predominantly, obviously, a right-footed centre back, but not afraid to use his left foot. He's quite both-footed in that sort of term. I had a little look into some what Leeds were saying on Twitter and a little look back into highlights. And one thing that struck me a little bit was that someone put that Mikel Antonio chose to sort of attack Cresswell because he saw him as the weak link in the Leeds back line. Apparently, about 20 minutes into the game, he changed over to, I think it was Cooper or someone else, because he just could not beat Cresswell in the air, on the ground, anything. He just couldn't. And everyone knows how big Antonio is in terms of like a big striker, and he just couldn't beat him. He couldn't beat him. So I think that shows that we've got that sort of player, a big player, and like a big strong player as well as a ball player.
Do you think potentially now we've possibly got either the or one of the best defences in the league now?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think I was going to ask the question as well, similar to that. Like,
sorry, I'll just go back.
It's all right. It's all good. It's all right. It's not a problem, mate. You're all right. Just don't do that again. Just don't do that again. All right? Is that all right? I'm joking. Anyway, I was going to ask the question. I was going to ask the question to the group, and I guess Micky, you could answer this, mate, because you're right. Like, we've got a lot of options now at centre half. 4 really good centre halves for this level, and that's literally the angle I was coming down there with you a bit there, mate. Where, like we're saying, Kai's saying he's right-footed but can play with his left. Where do you see him fitting into a back 3/5? Is who's going to come out the side if Cresswell's playing? Are we going to see Murray Wallace at left wing back and no Malone, or are we going to see Jake Cooper play the centre role? Because I think he's better in the centre of the 3 personally. But then I think Cresswell, the kind of size and physique he is, I think he's made for that position as well. So where do you see it, Micky, where he could potentially fit into the side?
It's hard because who would you take out? I mean, I don't know. I mean, come towards the end of the last season, Malone was doing well. So would you really take him out? Because Murray, you wouldn't necessarily want to take out, would you? Cooper, I suppose, is the only one who had a bit of a mare last season, but
by his high standards, it's like it was still a good season. It wasn't terrible. We agree. I think we said it a few times during the season, didn't we? And you're right there. I mean, Joe, what do you reckon? I think it's hard. It's a hard one, but also I suppose what we've added there is another set piece threat. So it wouldn't surprise me. You know, we say Cooper any time. Is it Cresswell any time, Joe, next season to get a goal for us?
Yeah, I mean, we're quite blessed in that sense, aren't we? We've got the flexibility. I guess, you know, Rout would probably look at different types of players, different formations, different setups. He may even rest a couple, you know, players. Don't forget, we've still got the likes of George Evans and Leonard who can step in there at the back if need be. But
Leonard as well, yeah.
Yeah, answer to your first question there. I don't know. I think Murray Wallace will probably be the person that loses out in that back 3. But does that mean that he might stay at claim for the left wing back role ahead of Malone? I think Malone's better going forward, although Murray can do a job going forward. We've seen it, you know, in those areas. But I think defensively, Murray's a lot stronger. He could get up and down that flank, you know, quite easily. We've seen him do that, as can Malone as well. But what it does give us, just gives us strength and depth, doesn't it, throughout the squad in that defensive area. And I think the way we set up this season coming, we're going to be so strong defensively, and the players we brought in are going to be so much better for us going forward, being more creative and hitting teams on the break. I think we're a very good counter-attacking side now, with the defence probably, like you say, probably being our strongest part really, and our kind of our main strength, I guess. But yeah, set pieces as well is a unit. You know, I'm sure he'll cause havoc. And of course, when you've got the likes of Zion and Honeyman, you know, on the set pieces now, these defenders are going to probably contribute quite heavily, I think, this season in those areas.
I suppose it's not great on Alex Pearce, Kai. So, you know, for full centre half to have as well, mate. I mean, did you agree with what we said there? Do you kind of have any suspicions or any kind of inkling where we might see Cresswell in that side, or if Murray Wallace moves out to left wing back? I think personally, from my opinion, I think Murray Wallace should be nailed on the left side centre half, because I think Cooper struggled when he's on that kind of left side of a 3 when he's playing down the flank and kind of dragged out of position, Kai. But what's your opinion on that one, and maybe where you see him kind of in the side?
He loses too many balls, doesn't he, Cooper?
Who? Well, he doesn't lose the ball. More so, it's not so much the balls. What I'm saying there is, like, if you imagine the forwards when they drift outwards and Malone's bobbed up the pitch, for example, or Murray West bombed up the pitch, Cooper always struggles on the turn, in my opinion. He's not as agile as
like Murray is he? You're right.
So I think he struggles, like, in that sense where if you target the spaces where the fullbacks bomb on, which they do obviously in a back 5 formation, then you see Cooper kind of isolated one-on-one, and I think he struggles. Obviously, Cooper's threat is, you know, he's set pieces and he's strength.
Cooper's the size of the fucking shard, though, isn't it? It's a bit hard for him to quickly turn around, you know what I mean?
Could Hutch be the one that loses out there? Because I agree with you, Omer. Towards the end of the season, where Cooper was playing in the middle, I quite liked him in the middle there, and he didn't really put a foot wrong. He seemed quite comfortable, and he was also marshalling, you know, the others and Ballard alongside him. So maybe it could be a back 3 of Cresswell, Cooper, and Murray Wallace. Maybe Hutchinson's a player that might lose out.
Do you think Cresswell might get the captain armband or not?
No chance.
No way.
No, the only reason because he's done it He's done it on the England side, hasn't he? He's had it on the England side.
I think
he's 19, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think
we don't want to fuck over. We don't want to fuck him over like Holloway did with
well, yeah,
Sid Nelson. So yeah.
There's that, and also I think you've got Hutchinson and Cooper who are the captain and vice captain going into the season. But Kai, I mean, Hutchinson potentially missing out here. I mean, is that even an option? Like, his injury problems have always preceded him a little bit. He's kind of got over it, I feel, the last couple of seasons. But who's missing out in that back three, mate?
Just don't feel like you can take Hutch out. I think you need him as the leader. I know we lost Pearce, and we lost Pearce. I think Pearce was more influential probably on the bet, like on the sidelines in the dressing room, rather than maybe on the pitch. I think every time Pearce stepped in last year, I thought he did a good job. But I think Hutchinson has to play for me because his captaincy. I mean, Cooper's a bit of a different captain. I think Cooper's he's not maybe as loud as Hutch, because when you're there, you can sort of hear who's shouting the most. I think Hutch, orders more, orders around, and he's much more vocal. But Malone could be in a little bit of trouble with Murray Wallace. I think them two really will fight it out for the left wing back spot. I mean, there's no doubt Scott Malone's energy going forward. I mean, Murray Wallace has got so much energy too, but Malone, when he finally gets into the final third, he can hit one, can't he, Malone? So, I think Malone has the upper hand on that, but then Murray Wallace can also get up and down as well. But it's just, for me, I'm more interested in see whether maybe it might change our style of play with Cresswell now, because I think now Cresswell's there, if he can really play out from the back, then perhaps maybe we're going to look to go through the thirds rather than try and almost go straight into attacking midfielder, then try and turn people on the counter.
Well, I don't see him being a up in the air kind of player. He's all rounder, but I think you're right there. Playing through the lines could be something we might be doing there. Anything else you boys want to add on Cresswell before we move on to transfers?
As part of the Cresswell part, I mean, on the other side of that, we're not really talking about the competition on that right side, are we? We're talking about the possibility of Danny McNamara leaving.
That's what I was going to come to. Yeah, literally what I was about to come on.
Bullshit.
He looks, pretty, sure he's going to stay. And I can't see why or how he would even go to QPR, because
QPR's not even fucking interested.
Well, they haven't even got even in the finances, I would imagine, to even get him on board, would they? Let alone try and tempt him across. But who's his competition at right wing back? We seem to have competition all over the team at the moment, different areas. But that's probably an area where, apart from Ryan Leonard,
I think that is the competition there. That's what I was going to say, probably, right? I
mean, he does a job there, but do you see him as being a real concern for McNamara? Do you see him looking over his show and think, I better play well because I'm going to lose my place to Leonard? I don't think so. I think he's there more of a plaster almost. And he's just kind of like to sort of seal over any kind of time that McNamara is not playing or injured or whatever,
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously you mentioned McNamara. For context, anyone that's listening doesn't know. According to the Football Insider, a Mills source has told Football Insider that the London rivals QPR bid for McNamara and it was not back. Micky said it's bullshit. 1 second, Micky. I'll bring you in, mate.
I was just going to say, we placed a bid for fucking Messi and it was rejected as well. So
this is what I was going to come to you, mate. You're saying
it was on London Live.
My only question to you, Micky, is firstly, how do you know it's bullshit? Because there could be genuine interest there.
I've had conversations with two journos, and one basically.
So is this agent talk? Is this Danny McNamara's agent because he's only got a year?
Don't even know if it's agent.
Trying to get more money.
Don't even know if it's agents.
What is it then?
Didn't Danny McNamara sign last year?
All I've got is that he signed it last year, 2 years, so he runs out of contract next year, which is
McNamara signed a deal last January. That's what.
So he's got a 2 year.
Was that a long contract?
Yeah, but long term is 2 years at Millwall. And then I was speaking to someone, and I got back. QPR aren't even interested, and it's just. So I mean, the West London.
Come on, put something on it. Is it agent talk or what? What is it?
It could be agent talk. It could be just a lazy journalist who just wants to fucking rally up a bit of interest. Who broke it? Football League.
Football Insider. Football Insider broke it.
Insider.
Football League World said it first, so that's a couple of days ago.
Right.
The Football League, which is clickbait, said it first, and then fucking Football Insider, and then Football Insider come out today. And I mean, Kai, you'll back me up on that. When they say source, it means made up. It don't mean real. I mean, fuck me. I've got connections to Millwall. You could fucking say I'm a source. Do you know
But
what I
Football
mean? It's just
Insider is
made
more
up.
Football Insider is more legitimate than other sources. I think Football Insider reported about the Honeyman deal. I'm pretty sure, no, if I'm not mistaken, or that they were one of the first to break the news of that. So
yeah, I don't see them as being cowboys or anything. They seem to be quite legit, quite genuine, aren't they? Whatever they seem to print or post.
I mean, listen, right? Danny
shouldn't
shouldn't be on what he is and how good he is at the moment and everything else. Danny shouldn't be on a contract when it expires June next year, right? Danny should be on a 4-year. We should have tied Danny up on a 4 or 5 year contract, and then year 3, year 2, 3, whatever. We should sell him, make some money, and invest that and give Danny the Premiership. What he's going to want, or wherever he is, because Danny is going to be a player. There's no
how old is he?
Buts.
He's only 23 years of age.
23.
I mean, you give him a 4-year extension or 5-year, whatever. That takes.
He'll be in his peak.
Well, that's it. Yeah, he'll be sort of 27, 28 years old, let's say. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't. If he's good enough to play in the Premiership and we're not in the Premiership, I would want to see him up there. But equally, I want to see get a decent fee for him as well.
Whenever we ever, sorry, Joe, to cut him off with a player a 4 or 5 year deal, though, I think it's always been 3 years, isn't it? I've never seen the longest I've seen is 3 year deal, right? I don't see it being any longer.
We don't seem to do that, and that's probably something we need to kind of get better at, because you look at Jed Wallace. I know we don't want to talk about Jed Wallace anymore, but just quickly, he's someone who we should have sold, a couple of years ago. When the value was there, we could have made some money on him, but we held on to him, and it's just terrible, really. Terrible bit of business from our part. And if we're not careful, the same can happen with McNamara. Before you know it, he's come to last year of his contract. Let's say he has a really good season this season, and he doesn't want to sign. He could be off on a free in a year or so.
I suppose in the defence of the club, we don't know if there is talks happening or not. It's all
happening.
And also we don't know whether or not that we might have an option to extend his contract by a year, because he's a young player that was offered a new deal. I mean, you'd like to think there might be some sort of clause there. I'm not saying there is.
I mean, there might be. I was told by a Millwall source that they were in talks with him. So,
Millwall source, yeah. News just in. No. Is that allegedly, or are you actually saying that? Or
no. I was, I spoke with a very high level source.
HP or Hines? Which one was
Hines, surely.
Or was it
definitely Hines, mate? Definitely Hines 57, mate. You can't beat anything other than Hines Baines. Do you know what I mean? But no, I think I don't think Danny's going anywhere. I think Danny loves the club, and I think regardless of what the rumours and the rivalry as such, he wouldn't go QPR. There's no benefit. He's playing first team football here. He's not going to jeopardise that unless it's really, really worth it. And QPR are in bang load of trouble financially. They're not going to be able to paying bundles and bundles, are they? So
just moving away from that slightly, Omar. I don't know if you've seen something recently. I think it was an interview with Honeyman. I don't know if it was South London Press or News at Den, but they're asking the question of where do you see yourself playing, your favourite position. It's quite an interesting conversation to have, because I was thinking, I was thinking, what is his best position? I mean, when I've seen him play at the Den, he played in this sort of right wing position that day, and he looked really good. He really stood out as one of their best players. But I heard from some Hull supporters that the reason why he wanted to leave because he didn't want to play right wing, and a new manager was playing him out there. Would he rather play in centre mid? Mm-hmm. And then in this article, again, apologise, I don't know which one it was News at Den or South London, but he mentioned on there that he's quite happy to play anywhere. He sees himself as a kind of box-to-box midfielder. That's kind of where he wants to play, and it's because he's quite tenacious. He loves to tackle. He can track back. He can get forward. He can score goals, get assists. You could see why he would right to play something.
But he left Hull, didn't he? He left Hull because he thought he weren't going to get first team football.
Well, yeah.
He knocked back 2 contract offers, though, Micky.
Yeah.
So like,
he wanted to be kept. But he did. But the problem, what I've been told by a couple of Hull channels was that. The Hull fans wanted him. He refused 2 contracts because the new manager and owner there has basically suggested that they want to bring in 7 to 9 new players, and the owner and the manager allegedly had told players there that they're not good enough and they want to bring in players what will get them to the next stage. And I think
I'm sure they wanted to keep him though, didn't they? I'm sure they would have.
They did want to keep
contracts, didn't they? He turned them both down.
He went for, allegedly. I'm not going to mention the exact figure because we were told confidentially, but it was less than £1 million, and Hull fans were shocked at that.
Yeah, it's all hearsay. But steering back to, I suppose, to the way I see him playing, though, Joe. I think I wouldn't be surprised to see him play. I think we'll play maybe at times a 5-3-2, and maybe Fleming might not be. Maybe Fleming's a second striker, perhaps.
I think so.
I could see something like that happening. I could see Honeyman being like the left side of a midfield three, maybe having a roaming role, or being around on the midfield, so to speak.
Like a flat three, rather than what we did last season with Jed in that number 10 role.
At times we did play the 5-3-2 with Jed and Bennett, or Jed and Phobia up front, if you remember as well. So I think the go-to will be having a 10 in there. I can see Fleming being the number 10, but at the moment we've only got Bennett, Phobia and Bennett up front. So and
Bradders.
And Bradders, of course, as well. So I mean, like all injuries kind of sit above them a little bit, if that makes sense.
Exactly. So, I mean, hearing what Rowett said, Omar, he did allude quite often. I noticed when he talks about Fleming, about him playing number 10 role, he does say, yes, he can be as a striker, he can do that as well. But I do get the impression that he sees him as the number 10 to fit in that role behind the front two that Jed did last season, which makes me wonder, where does Honeyman go? This is what I'm trying to say. And I can only imagine that he's looking to put Honeyman in that kind of central midfield position.
I agree.
If he does that, who loses out? Saville or Mitchell?
Well, this is what I think we said it last week.
Mitchell
on the show. I think it'll be.
You think so?
I think Saville maybe. I think.
Really?
Or I'm not sure. I think neither. That's why I say potentially I could see a midfield three. I could see him mixing things up.
If you look at Twitter and social media on our fans, they will say a high percentage will say that Mitchell is out. They don't rate him, which I think is a bit unfair, to be fair, because it's there. But
we love our own, but we love getting on the back of our own as well at the same time. It does my gears in with us. And I, you're right. Everyone that sits around me at Millwall will say Mitchell out and keep Saville in. We love getting on our own players' back so much.
We ruin
I don't know what it is.
Lewis and John.
Lewis and John was never going to be a player. He was good, but he was never going to be a Millwall player for us. And he had a chip.
Everywhere else he went, he fucking scored.
Yeah, I think last season, at the two of them, out of Saville and Mitchell, as much as I like Saville, I think Mitchell was consistently probably a better player, performance-wise. He was always like a 7 out of 10, weren't he? He never would give you. That's probably a bit harsh. Sorry, I'll say about an 8 out of 10 because I don't think he ever put a foot wrong. Yeah, he did well. He kind of bossed the midfield at times. He looked like he wanted the ball. He had a lot of appetite to play well. Whereas Saville was kind of like a little bit in and out. You have a good game and not so good game. So
I think they play different roles, Joe. I think as well. That's the thing. And the criticism everyone gives me about Mitchell is he plays sideways. Well, I think it's an important role in the team to have someone that recycles the ball and keeps shuffling it. And I think he's good at it. And he's good at doing that. Like, it's quite important to have that kind of water carrier in the midfield that keeps the play ticking over and
keeps possession. Yeah,
he is good at that. And I think we'll see more of it this season because we're going to try and, as Kai maybe said, play between the lines, try and play through the thirds. And I think we'll see a lot more of Mitchell and maybe may him grow into the role a bit more. I agree at times last season he's playing sideways and we don't have the talent up front to keep the ball there. But I think as we're trying to recruit and we've got Honeyman, Fleming, other players being linked, that are kind of ball carrying players and players that like to get on the ball, I think we will see more of them. I mean, Kai, what do you reckon? I think we was obviously discussing where we see Honeyman fitting in there, but also Mitchell or Saville if it was to take one of them two out, or what is your views on the Mitchell conversation?
I think Honeyman and Saville, as much as I love Saville, but I think Honeyman and Mitchell could be a better duo, I think, or Saville and Mitchell. But I don't think Honeyman and Saville will work as well together. If you put them in a 2, put them in a 3, then you've got a perfect combination. And I don't mind really who drops out. It's just I think Honeyman and one Mitchell or Saville or Mitchell, I think will be better put together. I think Honeyman and Saville might be a little bit too attacking and leave us a little bit exposed at the back, if that makes sense.
Is Honeyman left-footed?
Right-footed.
Both, isn't he?
He's stronger right foot, but he can use his left foot.
Yeah. Okay. So then maybe it is Mitchell is the sacrificial lamb then in that scenario, because I think you want the balance in the midfield as well. I think it's hard to say, but it's great to have the options, and it's great to be Gary Rowett because we'll read a bit of the article that was in BBC Sport that you linked today in the chat, Joe. I will get it up whilst I tee it up. I'm going to try and do some little conversation filler here. But the options we've got in the side, Rarrett's saying it's the best squad he's had since joining in the Championship as a manager.
Yeah.
So he says obviously talking about losing Pearce and Wallace. I don't know why Pearce was mentioned, but obviously he was a bit of a hitter in the squad. When you lose key players, you're always looking to go down a slightly different pathway. If you're trying to bring someone in to be that person, then there's never going to work. So for me, it's about moving forward in a slightly different way and bringing players in who can maybe bring in something we've been missing. We thought there was an opportunity to bring in a number of different types of players and probably create the strongest and most flexible squad we've had so far. I mean, Joe, you linked it to us in the chat today. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? And it's quite exciting, I suppose, to show he's quite, he's willing to mix things up this year, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, if he's excited, let's be honest, how often does Gary ever get excited about anything? So if he's excited about the squad that he's got and the season ahead, then it installs confidence in all of us, doesn't it, really? Because, he's mentioned as well that he's been quite clear in saying that he wants to bring in 2 or 3 more quality signings. I mean, to hear that, it's music to my ears, because as much as, yes, we've lost some players at the start of the season and we've brought in some players, the fact we're going to actually boost that and bring in potentially 2 or 3 quality players to add on to that, it just fills me with confidence for next season going forward. It's amazing. 1 minute we're thinking, I'm going to be fighting relegation, when Jed leaves, and we didn't bring anybody in. And then the next minute, within a week, we're actually contemplating on promotion now, which is incredible. And I think a lot of that is down to the recruitment and the players we brought in, and also the positivity surrounding players potentially coming in as well. And long may it continue. Hopefully we'll get 2 or 3 more in. And let's be honest, we've got plenty of time, haven't we? We've got another 2 months until the transfer window ends. So we're all kind of panicking and wanting names and people coming in now. But let's be honest, I think he's been patient. He's been patient so far, and his patience has paid off because he's been getting the players that he wants to get in and not just panic buying.
Definitely. I mean, Kai, one name that's been talking about, obviously, more additions there, and obviously 2 or 3 more are rumoured or muted to be coming in. Ellis Sims was a name linked with us, wasn't he, yesterday morning? I'm pretty sure you've seen some of his goals. I remember you talking about it in our chat yesterday. One thing I'd be critical of our front line is there's lack of a plan B, and I don't think Sims is that option either. But obviously, we have Matt Smith as an option, for example, Kai. I don't know what you think on that, but also the link of Ellis Sims. What do you think of that, and what the rumour's saying?
He's a really young, exciting player. I think he's everywhere he's gone, he's been loved by the fans. I think his work rate's really good. He's quick. He adds that little bit of a different dimension, I think, in that way. But also, I think he's strong as well. I was watching a video earlier on Twitter, and it was showing, how strong he is. And he holds players off really, really nicely. He holds the ball up, and then even in scoring positions, he can sort of get into moves where the ball's played through, and maybe the defender is there, but he can almost shrug them off and still try and hit the target. And he knows exactly where the goal is. So I'd be really excited if we were to bring him in.
And Micky, he's 21 years of age. He's had 2 loan spells, one in League One with Blackpool. And I don't know if he was there to the end of the season, but that was the year Blackpool got promoted from League One when Ballard was also on loan there. He scored 10 goals in 24 games in all competitions. And last season, he was playing the Scottish Premiership for Hearts and got 7 in 21. Not a bad return for Hearts as well in the Scottish Premier League there, mate. But what do you make of the link with Sims? And obviously, it's interesting. He's fitting the profile of a 21-year-old young player, different option. Interesting.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good signing for us. Obviously, if it comes off, wink, wink. I think it'll be a good signing for us. So yeah, I think.
What's HP said to that? HP saying it's going to happen, or what's happening?
And his fines contradicted him.
No, I've had no contact from a source from that one, mate. So yeah. But I think we need an out-and-out striker who has got something about him, and he is a fucking strong lad. He ain't going to go down easy. He's going to have it, and I just think when you look at Honeyman, you look at the players potentially we've got in the team now, who a few of them can score. Is that a bottle of Tizer? Oh. I thought it was Tizer. I was thinking, fucking hell, I ain't seen one of them for years. But yeah.
Sorry, me and Omer are sponsored by Pepsi Max. Did he not tell you?
You're you're useless. slugs,
Raspberry
mate.
or cherry, though, Joe? Raspberry or cherry?
How the fuck? How the fuck is that? Hang on.
Raspberry.
What the look, right? That even though that's blurred out, I know what that can is, Kai. Yeah,
What was that, Kai?
caffeine. That is Coca-Cola caffeine free.
Absolutely.
it's late in the evening, mate. So he's got to get his
It's
fix
caffeine.
without getting caffeine.
It's maximum taste, no sugar.
It tastes fucking like dog shit. It's horrible. Caffeine free.
I don't know the difference.
It tastes like dog. Same as these two drinking Pepsi. Pepsi is fucking dog shit.
I tell you
what,
what, one thing it does
Pepsi
do.
Max.
One thing it does to Pepsi Max makes you want to go to the toilet quite often.
Thanks for that.
So let's just carry on, and I'll be back in a minute. Is that right?
Of course, mate. No worries. I mean,
Hi, welcome. This is the over 55s. We have bad prostate and we need to shut the fucking door, you cunt, so we don't hear you piss. You know what I mean? We're the over 55 show, listening to Joe have a piss.
Well, Joe's going to miss out on this part of the conversation, which I was going to bring in, but Kai's also mentioned in the chat. Obviously, Conor Mahoney, mate, has come into the news today. He signed a 2-year deal, Kai, with Huddersfield Town. A bit of a weird one, that. I mean, I was expecting him to get moved to the Championship, but maybe Huddersfield don't have a lot of money to spend. They are, they overachieved last season, I think they'll say, Kai. How do you expect him to go at Huddersfield on a 2-year deal up north?
I think with Conor Mahoney, he's one that when he came in, I was really excited about. I'm pretty sure all of us were excited about it. All Millwall fans were excited. I think we paid quite a lot of money for him as well. And he never really, fulfilled that never lived up to the hype, basically. But you saw in games, especially against Luton. I don't know what it was with Conor Mahoney and Luton, but every time he played Luton, he came alive. And he must have scored about 3 goals against them in probably a couple of 3 games. He was in them games. It was super. I remember coming on. It was New Year's Day, and we were an early kickoff. And if we won in the playoffs, and it was 1-0 to Luton with 23 minutes to go, something like that. I think Bradshaw scored. Mahoney comes on and turns the game on its head, goal and assist in the last 15 to win us the game. And he was from then on. You thought, here we go, he's going to kick on now. And then he had a decent game the next game, and then he just fell away after the pandemic.
He had
injuries.
About 3 games. 3 games that were good, and that's it.
I think he was crippled by injuries. That's the problem I've got with Mahoney.
That we didn't even know we didn't really know what was wrong with him, and he just never really appeared, did he? But he was.
There's another fan channel was basically turned around and said it was the switch of management between Rowett and Harris, what basically pretty much ended his Millwall career, along with a couple of injuries and at times questionable desire. But he thinks that frustration had kicked in by that point, and he hopes that he
enough of giving that airtime. Who cares anyway? Who cares? It's his opinion. Who cares? He's allowed his opinion, but we're not talking about his opinion anyway. But Joe, what do you think of that one?
As much as I agree with that, I don't think it was down to the managers itself. I think it's more down to the tactics and the formation. So Harris being a 4-4-2 guy, he saw Mahoney as somebody who's going to come in on that left side, sweep left foot, get crosses into the box for the big tall target men in there. And of course, Rowett's philosophy is very, very different. He's not into the 4-4-2, play it down the channels, get crosses in. So he wants to play a different style of play. Now, the reason why Mahoney, I think, really, really struggled for a couple of reasons is, one, he lacked a bit of pace. If you're playing in that kind of counter-attacking football, like as Jed Wood or whoever was playing, he was never really a threat on the break, was he? And secondly, he wasn't quite tenacious or worked too hard in midfield either. So I think Ryan was struggling a little bit as to where he would play him. Personally, I thought Mahoney played really well when we played attacking free on the right-hand side, cutting onto his left foot. And very rarely did Rowett ever use him there. I think we actually played them there once in a pre-season friendly, and he scored a great goal. Do you remember that? Who was that against?
Real Sociedad. It was also whilst Neil Harris was in charge still. Real Sociedad.
Yeah, but the point I'm making is he was on that right side. He's a predominantly left-footed player, but he used his right foot. He cut in. He scored a great goal. And I just think he could have been so effective on that right flank, cutting in on his left foot and being a real kind of threat. But he was never really used there, was he? I think Rowett's played him in the kind of number 10 role sometimes. He played him out as a left wing back. And I don't think, to his defence, I don't think he really got a good crack in the Rowett team. And I really do believe that he's going to do really well next season for Huddersfield. And I hope that he's not going to score against us when we play him in our fixtures. I can see him sort of being a real good player for them.
Definitely, and I wish him well. I just think he's a sick note, and I hate to say it. Like, I think his injuries have preceded him. The last 2 seasons, he's missed half a season 2 years in a row, and I mean, we don't know how much he was on. We don't know what the wages are. There's always alleged rumours, but you've got to think we signed him for £1 million, didn't we, from Bournemouth? So
we signed him for free, didn't we?
And then also he would have been a big signing from Harris at the time in that summer window. So I would have thought he would have been on a fair chunk of wages. And I just don't think he was justifying what we was paying him overall in the end. So, like, if he was maybe a lower owner, maybe we might have been trying to keep him on board. But I'm just of the opinion, like, his injuries preceded him towards the end. And I do agree somewhat with the notion that new manager comes in, new ideas, and he does kind of get forced out the sides. Micky, it's a thing that happens in football, mate. Anyway,
listen, I'm not disagreeing with you. That's fact. He was between him and Rowett, didn't see eye to eye, and Rowett basically turned around to him more than once and just said, "Look, you're never going to play here again."
But also the frustration with him is he was a player, like Joe said, you had to kind of carry in the side because he liked to get on the ball and he slowed the play down. He likes to be kind of fancy flicks here and there. And you're right, Joe. He played like he was walking sometimes, and that wasn't because he was lazy. It was just his playing style and how he plays. You know, he likes to get on the ball and have loads of touches of the ball. But in the Championship, when it's quick, like, it doesn't really work.
Especially with our system that we saw the second half of the season. It's all about getting the ball, counter-attack, you know. And you're right, Omer. He would often like to get the ball. He want to drop the shoulder. He want to cut inside, take another touch, go backwards, you know. And it probably just didn't suit the style of football that Wright wanted to play. And let's be honest, I think Wright called it right in a sense because the players that he did pick ahead of him did a job for us, didn't they?
That's it. And Bennett and Jed were more kind of suited, I suppose, to the style we wanted.
More direct.
And also, I think, Kai, what was frustrating for me is I feel like during lockdown, and then we came into the second season of Mahoney's spell with Millwall, I think the opportunity was there for him to really grab the shirt. And he was played sometimes in the 10. And I think he had that good game at the end of the first season against Huddersfield, where he scored 2 goals, I think, and we won 4-1 last game of the season. And he had that good game, and you're thinking, right, go on, Mahoney, this is the second season now, kick on and really take that shirt. I just think he flattered to deceive in the end, mate.
Yeah, I think when the pressure was off, Mahoney did well. You know, saw that against Huddersfield last game of the season. We had nothing really to play for, and you know, he had that freedom about him, like he could just almost roam and, you know, get on the ball, sort of like no pressure on him. He can, you know, do all these fancy flicks, and he did really well at it. Actually, I was really impressed with him. I thought, you know, it'd be interesting to see what he could do next year. And this season, the only real, I think, the start of the season, I thought he was very good against Leicester in the Cup. I thought him and Thompson were very good that day, and that really gave me excitement. Maybe Thompson and Mahoney are going to kick on. You know, now I thought Thompson's always been a good servant for us, and you've seen him score, you know, goals, and a couple of years ago, especially in the Harris days when we nearly relegated. But I thought that day against Leicester, he really tracked back. I remember him tracking back all the way down the left-hand side and tackling. I think it was Perez, and like running all the way back, tackling him, and then running forward with it. And I was so impressed by that. And I thought maybe this is a new Mahoney. Maybe we're going to see this, because all you have to do, I know we're not. I know, you know, all you had to do that when Mahoney was playing, or even sitting on the bench, just watch exactly what Jed did with the work rate, with the effort he put in. And if Mahoney matched that work ethic and the hard work, there's no doubt Mahoney.
There was no passion.
Yeah, he would have done exactly what
determination. Exactly.
No, it's just, I'll take the wages, but I don't know if I'm really going to break a sweat for you.
I think he's also a player that likes the arm around the shoulder and, you know, likes to kind of be fed and said, like, you're going to keep doing this, keep doing it. I've got faith in you. And Wright ultimately didn't really have that faith in him, which is, can't for say is fair enough. Like,
you can imagine Rowett's style of man management is straight to the point. You know, like, listen, cunt. You know, listen, fella, you're playing like a cunt. What are you doing? Just fucking pull your socks up and fucking get in there. You're better than that. Go for it. And yet, you know, they'd be thinking that the manager's having a pop at them, going, "Oh, I'm rubbish, I am," you know.
And I don't know what this is all just opinion, but you know, he's a Northern boy, born in Blackburn. He's moved back to Huddersfield. You know, maybe he wants to be back home. Miss his family. I think he's got a little kid. I'm pretty sure I've seen on his Instagram a few times and stuff like that as well. And maybe it's just, and maybe it's not worked out well for him to, you know, coming down to London and being away from home. So it wouldn't surprise me to see him do well at Huddersfield. And I think he goes well wishes, and we hope to see him do well, just not at the Den or against us at the Galfrom. or the John Smith, or we've had this conversation before with Kai. Which one is it nowadays? Tell me right now. Is it? It's not a Select Leeson. That's
I think it's John Smith because they still that John Smith beer. So
yeah. So there's loads of different naming rights at that stadium. I think all stands have got different names for them, to be honest, as well. So, but he goes by well wishes. Someone who doesn't maybe go with the club's well wishes and the fans' well wishes. Nice
Judas
little link here, guys. Come on, guys, give me that one. Zach Lovelace has gone to Rangers. Micky, go on. Judas, can't you say? Tell me what you think about.
I just think it's madness. The kid was on the verge of first team football in the Championship, which is probably the second best league out there to a degree. On competitive level, and yet he's gone to the B team in Scotland. I've had older debates going. Yeah, but they were in the Europa Cup final last year. Yeah, but don't mean they're going to be in it fucking this year, does it? Do you know what I mean? It's okay, they were in it, but he's going B team, Scottish team, where Scotland teams are, the league's that fucking shit. They play each other 4 times a fucking year, for fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? It's nowhere near on the same level as the Championship or the Premiership. And realistically, in 2 years' time, he could have been in the Prem. And there's more what's come out, but you don't know, do you?
Realistically, in 2 years' time, what, for Millwall, you're saying, or is it just
no? For Lovelace, he could have quite happily been picked up by a Prem team and put into, their development squad, and then potentially got into the Prem.
Well, he could have been picked up by a Prem. He could have been picked up by a Prem team this summer, and he hasn't been. Maybe that's a tale to tell. Because maybe he's not as good as we all thought he was. And to be honest, I've not seen enough of him to make a comment and a passing judgment, really, because he's 16 years old. And he was thrown in the deep end because we had injuries. So would he have got an opportunity this season? I don't know if he would have played much this season personally. I don't think he would have done. But...
To be fair, I don't. In our sources, what we've been told, he wanted to stay here. He wanted to stay here. He wanted to play. Julius is a bit much. He's 15, 16, but he wanted to stay here. And unfortunately, the decision. Unfortunately, I think which we'll go on to on another show we've got coming up shortly, is unfortunately a lot of dads and parents seem to want to become rich on the back of their son, on the back of their kids in football, and they don't necessarily do it for the right reasons.
It's a hard one. It's a hard
development of their kid.
It's a hard debate to have, that one, and I agree somewhat, and we will talk about it more in that show we've got coming up, which obviously will be a great one. But I mean, Joe, how do you feel obviously losing Lovelace, but also we'll touch a little bit on it. He's 16, but potentially getting a big sign-on fee going to Rangers. The bugbear for Millwall, you can see in the statement, was we've sat with his family a long time, they said, and we tried to kind of convince him to stay and said that he should be here and it was good for his development. It's a kick in the teeth as well because we get less compensation as well going to Scotland, but it's just a real kind of shame all around, really, it feels like.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, let's be honest. I think he's a young kid. He's very young. He's not really mature enough or old enough to really make his own decisions. I think a lot of that is being led by his family, his agent. And you're right, Micky. Maybe he wanted to stay at Millwall. Why wouldn't he want to stay at Millwall? Because I don't think someone at that age is really thinking that hard about money and the financial side of it. I think all they care about at that point is getting that professional, football, getting first team football and playing football. That's what matters to them. I think the money comes a little bit later in their career where they kind of wise up to it and they realise, actually, you know what, I need to be earning top money here.
London, Glasgow. London.
Again,
Glasgow.
I don't think that's his choice. But one thing I did see of him is when I watched Mill training that time at the Den, there's a few strikers on show, and no word of a lie, he was probably the most clinical striker out of everyone. So Bennett Fogue was there, Bradders was there, there was Bennett, him, and I can't remember one or two other. I think Burke was there at the time as well. And they were doing this drill, and there was a shooting drill where you've got to kind of do a bit of a pass and move across the ball, and you've got to then finish it past the keeper. And no word of a lie, I think they must have about 5 goes at this each, and he smashed the ball in every single time. I'm looking at it thinking, I can't believe that kid is only 16 years of age, and he looks so good, but he looks so confident. And when I've seen him play for Millwall, it comes over the last sort of 10 minutes or so. I don't think we've actually seen the real Zach Lovelace. I think he's come in and he's run around a little bit and he's done a little job for us, but I don't think he's actually played with real confidence. So we haven't really seen his true potential.
No, I agree with you, and I think it goes back to what Omer said earlier, that we ruin our own. Do you know what I mean? We ruin the youngsters, we ruin our own, because there was a game when he come on for quite a bit of the game and he looked lost. You know, there were certain bits of that game, I can't think where it was now, but he looked lost. And proper, deer in headlights, rabbit in headlights, and the Boo Boys were on him, and 15, 16, it's a hard thing to take, but hey ho, look, hopefully we'll see him in a Rangers shirt before this season's out on the first team, and it makes it better. But if he's not there, then you're probably looking at maybe another player what was potentially there, what unfortunately filters away.
And being so young, could he come back to Millwall? Who knows? He might get homesick at. He might not like it up in Scotland, in Glasgow. All his mates are down here. Who's to say it doesn't work out for him and he ends up coming back to Millwall?
Would you like to live in Glasgow?
Not particularly.
I've never been Glasgow, so I can't pass judgment on that. But I'd rather keep the home comfort of South East London. Don't worry about that. Kai, Lovelace, anything you want to add on to the conversation before we move on to pre-season friendlies?
I'd say I'm going more for obviously the compensation fee as well, but I'm going to go for more of the time and effort the coaches have put into developing him. I mean, it's great and how much effort they've put into him, and it's obviously it showed making that debut so early. But you just feel like that sort of was kind of all wasted, isn't it? Now, like it's a bit.
It's no real kick in the teeth, yeah.
Yeah, because that coaching could have been on someone else who could have been the next big thing for Millwall.
Yeah, but you've got to also think that maybe it was a bit cynical. If you look at it on a cynical brain, did they play him in the first team? One, because obviously we had a few injuries and we didn't really have a lot to choose. But did they play him thinking that if we get him out and get him on the first team against the Prem team, because it was against Crystal Palace he made his debut, didn't he? Coventry. And would he potentially then sign a pro deal? Do you know what I mean? So maybe it's a gamble what didn't work out, but hey ho, that's and again that these are questions that hopefully will be answered on a show we've got coming up for you.
We definitely dangled the carrot in front of him, I think that's for sure, but didn't really work out in the end for us. And I mean, I think the worst from the club said it all, and it painted the story that we all kind of know. Didn't work out. The club's devastated about it and really disappointed about the news. But we wish him well, I suppose, because he's still made at Millwall. And I think he joined the club when he was 13, he said in his Instagram post. So it's a shame. But there we go. We'll move on from that. I was going to do parts, but we've gone on for about 55 minutes talking about transfers, which is great, lads. But let's wrap up and talk a bit about pre-season. Micky, up first on Tuesday night. We're all going to it. Dartford. Look forward to it, mate.
Yes, mate. We'll have a few beers beforehand, hopefully. It's. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good. It is Dartford. Dartford's a strange place, isn't it? We got Palace first. Thanks, Guy. Yeah,
we have got Palace on Saturday, but we can't go to it, so I don't count it. But we can watch it, I suppose. It's on Millwall TV, isn't it?
Is it on the stream? Is it?
It's on the stream. So okay, we've got Palace on Saturday. Fine, Kai, you're right. All right, you're fine. But
no, it's Joe. It's Joe.
Sorry, Joe. Sorry, my bad. But we can't. We're not going to it, so I don't count it. But anyway, we'll talk. I
like Dartford. You can swap at half time. You can swap ends at half time. It's the only good thing. Yeah, have you not been to Dartford before?
I haven't. No.
There's a fella.
You just walk around.
There's a Dartford. There's a Dartford fan there, right? Who's got a big banner up, but he puts it out one end, and then once it's half time and his team moves, he then changes with his stepladder and walks round to the other end, and then puts a banner up at the other end. Yeah, stepladder.
They all went behind the goal that their team's attacking, I guess. Yeah.
And the food. Probably. And the food's not too bad at Dartford either, is it? There's a nice little.
It's a nice bar there as well. That's in
we're all going to that, we're all going to that one, aren't we?
We are.
Yeah. So we do a show after it, maybe. So
and obviously,
not during. Omer doesn't like it during.
Anyway,
we like to do one after as well, so it's all good.
I'm with Omer. I've got to agree on that. I think when you're at a match day, you're there.
It's your match day experience.
I don't mind doing something afterwards. You're right. But
your opinion don't count, so don't matter.
And Joe, you're right. We got Palace on Saturday. You intrigued to see us how we fare up against Crystal Palace again pre-season?
I think they played Accrington Stanley, didn't they? Recently, I think they drew 1-1. So
Atkinson Stanley,
who are they? Exactly. They drew 1-1 against them. So I don't know whether they had their full strength team out or not, but I mean, let's be honest, they should be beating Accrington Stanley. So whether or not they actually play a stronger team against us on Saturday, who knows? But I think it's a great test for us to play against them. If they play their strongest team and we play our stronger team, I think we'll give them a good game. You know, with the players we've got available who want to impress and show around that they deserve to be in the first team. I'll be surprised if we don't end up beating them. So unfortunately, I'm going to miss the game now. I've got to go to a flower show. Don't laugh, Micky. I've got to go to the Claygate Flower Show.
Claygate Flower Show.
Exactly, and I can't watch the game, so I'll be watching my phone.
No doubt it'll be replayed on Millwall TV, mate. So yeah.
And we won't have Joe on Sunday to talk about the game because he's not going to be able to see it.
I talk about flowers and plants and vegetables that are growing there. I can say
we'll be having his twin brother Chris. So yeah.
And Kai, I was going to say, we're not finished yet, mate. Sorry.
No, but before you finish it.
Yeah, I will. I know you like to have your 3 or 4 minutes at the end to talk about updates and stuff, mate. So it's all good.
No, you know what? I haven't got updates. I've got a question for you boys, and I was interested in your opinion. So
we will come to that. We'll come to that. 1 second. Kai, I don't know about you, mate, but I'm looking forward to going to the Job Surf Community Stadium next Friday, mate. You going to that?
Yeah, mate, I'm going to that one. I can't wait for that one.
Colchester away.
Yeah, well, it's a classic, isn't it? It's a classic. You go past it on the motorway. It's almost like the Walsall of the south. Mm-hmm. You go past it all the time. But no, I think we've got some good pre-season friendlies lined up. Dartford, Colchester, good games we can go to. Obviously, the Palace one we can't, but I've been, my Palace mate's been saying to me, "Oh, we're going to beat you. We're going to beat you." I've told them that if we lose, it was just a pre-season game. If we win, it was the biggest game of their lives. So I've got it all lined up nicely. So I've painted the picture to them. So they'll expect it on Saturday night if we beat them.
That's it. And then obviously we've got Ipswich to finish pre-season, but Watford cancelled there as well, Kai. I mean, do you know much about that one? Is it just they couldn't field a team for it? They got other plans, or what's been said about that?
I don't know. It looks like they've almost put another team on that day, which is a bit strange for Watford. But I'm hoping we'll be able to rearrange that hopefully and get another one there. But Ipswich would be a good game, to finish off pre-season and get the fans almost that last pre-season game, especially it's big at the Den. It will really bring up a little bit of excitement, for the new season, especially if we can get a comfortable win. And the fans are starting to feel excited. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can win that one and send the fans home happy and looking forward to the next week.
Excitement at the Den after beating League One Ipswich Town. Yeah. I mean, I'll go to that pre-season, but it's not thrilling at all, is it, Micky?
No. Do you think... I think Ipswich is probably because of the Bart deal.
It seems it, doesn't it? Well, if you read between the lines, but who knows?
Do you guys like the idea of playing weaker opposition or tougher opposition for pre-season friendly? Because last season we played Arsenal. We got trounced. Was it 4-0 or 5-0?
Or one.
I remember watching that on a stream, and I must admit, I was watching it thinking, as much as it was a really good run out for our boys, and we had to work really hard on that game, I just can't see how that would help our confidence going into the season when you can see like how bad we looked against them,
Pre-season's always shit. It don't matter, really, as a whole. I might go a game or two. Maybe this year I might go one. I'll definitely go in one. I might go two, but I don't, as a rule, really like going pre-season friendlies because you don't necessarily get to see the full team. They're sometimes a mix between under 23, but it does seem this year that the under 23s have got their own pre-season clubs as well this season. But sometimes there's a mix, or you don't necessarily see the full potential and whatnot. And I've never been a great fan of friendlies, but if we're playing, to me it's about them getting another, getting some more training and getting their self practicing and stuff like that. So I wouldn't necessarily want to do Premiership, but it's a way of giving the fans something. But as we were talking beforehand, Prems do charge, the clubs do charge money for friendlies. So, again, you've got to look at, would you want to pay 50 grand, say, to play Tottenham when potentially it's going to go off, you're going to get spanked, and you're going to be paying, 50 grand for Tottenham to turn up and then probably 250 grand in fines. So,
and then 50 grand for the old Bills to turn up and work it as well, probably. Exactly. But I'm the opposite of pre-season friendlies. I actually am buzzing. I'm not buzzing about the Ipswich at home game because I don't like going to watch the home friendly game personally. I'll be there, but I enjoy going to the aways because you see people you've not seen for a while, but also you see how the team's starting to take shape. You start to see partnerships come on the pitch, and it's intriguing. Obviously, a few new signings. I can't wait to see where Fleming fits in, Honeyman fits in. And also, like, you get to go to these places you don't normally go to. Dartford's going to be class. Like, I'm looking forward to that. I'm even going to go to Chelmsford, I think, to see the 23s play the week after on a Friday, I think. I've got the bug for it, and I love it. Like, you've gone 2 months without it, lads. Just get straight back into it and go full send. So,
I agree with you. I agree with you. My oldest boy, Luke, was telling me about going to the Colchester game. I must admit, I was thinking, I don't know if I fancy that. I can't be bothered. But then now the Watford game's cancelled, I think I just need to get another game in before the season starts. And you're right, Omer. It's an opportunity to look at the new look at the team, where players are going to play, what positions they're going to play in. So for that reason, I'm excited. Yes, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter whether we win, draw, or lose. But you're right. Just pre-season is what it is. It's preparing for the season ahead, getting the fitness levels up, getting the confidence up, and getting the team playing together.
Go on, Micky. See us out, mate, with a little monologue. Tell us what you want to tell us.
Well, I mean, obviously, I don't know if you've seen it. It's starting to come in the paper. They seem to be kicking out a PR campaign. Reading wrote letters to 23 championship teams saying to them that if you promise to charge our fans no more than £20 for a ticket, we'll charge your fans £20 for a ticket. But I don't know if it's just me, but I've not really seen anything from our club on this. I've not really seen anything from the MSC debating this and whatnot. And I just wondered, what's your thoughts? I mean, realistically, is it profit before, fans? Is it the clubs saying, why haven't we made the decision yet to do it? Or are we going to? Which again, we don't know. But to me, surely it's a no-brainer that you just go, all right, we won't charge your fans more than 20 quid and you're not going to charge our fans more than 20 quid. And hey-ho, I mean, what is Reading, 30 quid?
It's 20 quid. It's normally 20 quid, to be fair. It's one of the cheaper away days. It sticks in my memory as one of the cheaper tickets to buy. Do you know, it's double-edged for me, right? Part of me thinks, it's brilliant incentive. Everyone should sign up to it. I think from Millwall's point of view, and they always talk about this when we get promoted from League One to Championship, and I know Cavan has said it before. I remember Andy Ambler saying it before as well when he was the CEO. They love it because you get, instead of 400 Oldham fans in the away end, you've got 2,000 Derby fans, not anymore, but you've got 2,000 Championship fans there that are always going to buy the tickets and sell out. When Coventry come, they always sell at the top. All these sides that come down, Watford will sell at the top tier against us. Like, these clubs always bring big numbers for the away followings. So I think for Millwall, they look at it as, we can make some money here. So, like, it's a hard one to justify. I'm kind of thinking in myself, like, it's great incentive from Reading, but then why don't Reading just say, we charge 20 quid and we'll top up the rest and buy the rest for our fans? I don't know. It's like, I agree to it. If everyone signs up to it, it's perfect. But the Premier League all agree and veto the 20, 30 is plenty, isn't it, for the away games? So it'd be great to see 20 is plenty in the Championship. That'd be great. But I think Stoke pay for all their away fan coaches. There's clubs that do incentives. I think if Mill don't agree to that one, it'd be nice to see Mill do some sort of incentive instead for their own, which is why, like, I think it's a bit cheeky from Reading to. It's great incentive, but not everyone's going to agree to it. So I don't know.
That's it. And I mean, the problem is now I think Bristol said they're not doing it, and once you've got one not doing it, you're going to potentially have others. I mean, I was just interested. Realistically, is it? I for some reason I thought Reading was more expensive, but I'll look into it and see what their ticket prices are. But it seems to me that what we're probably going to charge more, aren't we? We're probably going to be a lot more than 20 quid anyway.
I think it's £27 to come Millwall, maybe 30 quid if it's a category A, obviously, isn't it? So 20.
Leeds was like
that's when I think that's when it's a joke. When teams charge over 30 quid, when the Premier League is 30 is plenty. That's when it gets a bit silly. And it's great from Reading what they're trying to do, and I'm for it. But I don't know.
It's just following your teams away from home and not cheap, because there's lots of other things included. Do you know what I mean? Like train tickets, petrol, everything else, and you just think, realistically, you hear all the bullshit, don't you, where they go, oh, well, admissions, and especially within the Premiership, because of the TV rights, they don't really need the admissions as such. It's the other money what makes all the money for us. When, to take a family to football is pretty much more than what it would cost, or the same amount to take your kids to fucking Fort Park for the day. Do you know what I mean?
I've got for you, mate. I paid on the 24th of February on a Thursday. I paid £20 to go watch Millwall versus Reading.
So potentially it's a PR trick.
It's always been a thing. They charge 20 quid, and I think they've always honoured that if clubs match it, which Millwall I think have done. Obviously, if that's the case, then they do it.
But how are they going to charge you more? Then?
What do you mean? So they'll charge you more if they don't honour it. So say if that Reading fans come to Millwall. Yeah. And we charge them £27, they'll then go, right, Millwall fans going to Reading have to pay £27. That's what they're saying they'll do. But if they all then agreed to charge Reading fans 20 quid, when we go to Reading, we'll pay 20 quid.
What are we playing them first at their ground before they come to ours? What happens then? Do they stay at 20 and then just hope that we match them? Or?
Question, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm for it. It's a good initiative, but I think it's got to be from the EFL to say, right, 20 quid for all the away fans. It's nice Reading are trying to do it, but I think they should just turn around and go,
should be all the clubs.
Yeah, but all the clubs will agree to it because, like I said, think about Wigan. Wigan's got a 5,000 away end behind the goal. When Wigan played Burnley, Wigan want to charge 25, 30 quid for their tickets because they know they'll sell the away end out. It's the same when Preston comes to town or Blackpool. These rival games, they're going to get a 5,000 away fans behind the goal. They want to try and capitalise on the revenue, I think.
You do it by categories then maybe. You know, you use category A, B, and 20 is the kind of the lower and maybe 25 or 30 for the big games.
Yeah, but then their safety committees would just put it into a higher category so that they won't be able to do it. But I agree, 30 is plenty, 20 plenty for the championship, but So yeah, no, look, I just thought I'd ask the question. That was it. Do you know what I mean? For some reason in my head I thought they were like more than that, but it's just.
The cost of football's a joke. I think I've paid 20 quid to go. I think it was 20 quid to go and watch Bromley play last season at one point when I watched a game there. And the same when I went to a Dagenham game, 20 quid to watch football at a conference.
What's
the Dartford? Is that £10?
It's £10 for the friendly, yeah. Okay. But even then, I think Millwall doing a friendly against Ipswich and charging a tenner. It's good. Yeah, it's cheap, but
as well, yeah.
But why not a £5? Or if you're a season ticket holder to get all the fans in there, just give the season ticket holders a free game. It's like I don't know.
Do kids go free? I can't remember if the kids go free for the friendlies. Do they or not?
I think so. I think a £5 for kids. So yeah,
again, that's missing an incentive there as well. And they getting the kids in for free. Adults will have to go with them and pay, of course, full price and get some more youngsters in.
That's it. Just one other thing before we go. Sorry, on, if you.
You know what? I reckon, by the way, if you look at the metrics, this is where everyone turns off. I think I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
because everyone gets bored of hearing you in the end, mate.
I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut it and put it to the beginning. Listen, it's only that if you're a writer or an up and coming writer, and you want to get involved this year with writing stuff about Millwall and all that lot, get in touch with Kai because he's looking for some writers. So yeah, for the website and stuff. So if you're not too bad at writing and you fancy having a go, or you think you could have a go, then get in touch with young Kai, and he will set you a challenge.
Do you call yourself an up and coming writer, or do you call yourself an aspiring writer? Is that the better word?
Aspiring writer, up and coming writer,
up and coming podcaster. Am I a bit kind of But yeah, that's what Micky's saying. Obviously, there for our website, thatmillpodcast.co.uk. Check it out if you've not checked it out already before. Anyway, I think we've come to an end. Micky, you sure there's nothing else you need to say before we go, mate? Or you all right? All good? Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah, we got some big announcements coming, so I can't get rid of him now.
We don't care about the announcements.
Can't get rid of him now.
No one cares. It's all right. I don't care either. Micky, thank you for being on the show tonight, mate.
It's a pleasure as always, mate. It's my fucking show, you can.
Well, I'm just saying, thanks for being here.
Someone told me that the other day, and I went,
no,
it's not. It's mine and Omar's show, and they're like, no.
Until me and Kai take over, eh, Kai?
Yeah, the revolution. But Kai, thank you, mate, for always being on the show as well, pal.
No worries, mate. Enjoyed that one.
And Joe, thank you, mate. Enjoy the flower show on Saturday.
Thanks very much. And I'll be, I'll put my knowledge to the test when I next speak to you. My flowers and my vegetables that I'll be learning about while I'm there.
That's it. Well, look forward to hearing all about it, mate.
I'm really not.
Well, that's us today.
What do you do for an easy life? Have your family, eh?
Well, that's us for tonight, and that's us for today. Enjoyed that one. I think we're getting our little mojo back for the season. So that's edition number 3 of the 22-23 season. And Mickey's showing off his cap. I'm sure you'll hear more about that in future weeks. He says he's got nothing else to say anyway, so I'm going to cut him off and not let him say it anyway. And we're going to go. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you later.